Hello, hello. I'm gonna wait for some more people to come in and then I'm gonna get started. Hello, hello. How are you? How is your day going? So, tonight's conversation is Black Men Hurt Too. And so, um, what I have realized, even having you said it's going good, that's good. That's good. What I have realized that it has happened, it's been happening, but I never paid attention to the reason behind why Black men do what they do in certain instances. And even in the fact that, you know, they're quiet about, you know, their needs. You ask, are they okay? They're like, yeah, I'm okay. But then you see that clearly something is wrong, not expressive. And so even because I have male friends, I have brothers, this is something that I started paying attention to. And even looking at some of my past relationships, I didn't really understand that men, especially Black men, go through trauma just like Black women. And there are just a lot of different things that Black men face that we may not understand as women. And the way that you all express it, the way that Black men express it is totally different, because Black men are told to suck it up. Men in general are told to suck it up, right? They're like, you know, when you show emotion, that's you being too soft, you being a simp, you're, you know, being whatever the word for weak is, but it just shows that you're weak in society's view. But in real life, in order for you all to function, be dads, be husbands, be who you are, and be okay with it, it's time to look at you know, Black men's emotional needs and what has happened down the line. So even looking at, me and my brother were having a conversation earlier today about my father. My father didn't have his father present, and a lot of Black men and women have not had their fathers present in the home. And so even looking at the even looking at the fact that he didn't have his father present, there were other men that were going through the same thing just like it is today. And the toll that it takes on a boy when he's young, you know, women won't understand that. Like, we don't necessarily understand it, but it is affecting you all because it comes out in your manhood, right? It comes out when you're dating. It comes out when you are trying to address issues in life. It shows in those areas. But even when I was having this conversation with my brother about my dad and how he didn't have his father present, and I was like, we would never know like what struggles he actually went through on a day-to-day basis, because that feeling of not having your father there, and I can only speak from my own emotion of not having a father. I can't understand the man's emotion, but to just think about not having your father there, or him being present in life and still not being there for you, it will take a toll on your self-esteem. It takes a toll on your emotions. Am I good enough? What's wrong with me? All of these different things. And so a lot of that stuff is not addressed in our men, because we just think that men are just supposed to take a licking and keep ticking. Now, women, we have been given a pass to now talk about our mental health, talk about things like abuse, neglect. We've been given a pass to do that. Men have not been given that pass. Black men especially have not been given that same pass. And these are some of the things that I pulled up that black men deal with. So abuse, neglect, belittling, feeling inferior, bullied, taken advantage of, lack of higher earning potential, job discrimination, higher rates of incarceration, perceived as angry and as a threat, overlooked, raised to mask feelings, unloved, mishandled by girlfriends and or wife. So those are some of the things that I was able to pull out that black men deal with in a list. But this is a topic that really needs to be discussed, because women always talk about, you have all of these women empowerment groups, and I talked about it in lives previously. All of the women empowerment groups, they sit up and they have these conversations about how we need to be empowered, how we need to do this and that and the other. But who's giving that same empowerment to our black men that are supposed to be leading us, that are supposed to be heads of households, that are supposed to be the leaders in society? Who is giving that type of empowerment? I don't know why, we think that it's not necessary, but it is so much necessary to have hello, where men are just as empowered as women. And you don't have men that sit and talk about their emotions for feeling insecure, or if they're going to be judged. And that's a lot of the issue. Am I going to be judged when I say X, Y, and Z? Am I going to is someone going to use this against me, right? Is someone going to take advantage of, let's see, I don't know if it's gonna let me do it. Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? So what do you have to say about black men hurting too? So I'm gonna back up though,
Okay.
because I'm going to talk about the whole Will situation at the Oscars. People have so many different perspectives on it. They are like, oh, he was defending his woman. And it might very well might be the case, but I really see that there is some hurt there. And I feel like he was just taking his anger out on Chris Rock, because even though Chris Rock is a comedian, he says what he says and all of this other stuff, and what he said was pretty insensitive, but I'm not sure that he actually knew what she was dealing with when he said it. So I feel like he was just spitting something off, and he really didn't know what the medical issue was behind it.
But when you look at Will Smith, he's kind of been emotional here and lately. But in his book, I looked at a overview of it. I haven't grabbed it yet, but he talked about abuse, that he saw with his dad abusing his mom, and bringing that stuff into your adulthood and not really addressing that is
Mm.
part of what a lot of men wind up doing, because men are not told to deal with these types of emotions in a healthy way. Like, that's not a thing. So I think that him bringing that into the present affected him, you know a lot. And even dealing with his marriage, I'll get into that part later, because I honestly feel like she has not been protecting him as a wife. Some women might have something to say, but when you are in a marriage, there should be a code that happens, and there should not be where you're putting your husband out there. Whatever you did, whatever your indiscretions is, that should stay behind closed doors. The rest of the world does not need to know that, because that's a real hit to a man's ego. Like, that's how I feel. So what is your take on black men hurt too?
I think a lot of times we sweep a lot of things underneath the rug as far as I hurt. I think a lot of times, even let us give you a backstory. Like when men try to open up to women and stuff like that, a lot of times, we get very comfortable as we go past the probation period and stuff like that, and then actually end up in a relationship with a woman. Then we get to the point where, okay, I feel like I can trust her, I can be vulnerable with her and stuff like that. Then a lot of times, depends on the woman, we may not be able to get that, because sometimes a woman can shut us down. As far as if she get mad or get upset or something that we don't like, something that she don't like what we did or whatever the case may be, or we got into an argument, something like that. She can get very vindictive, where she can start, cussing us out, or tearing us down in front of her family members or her friends, stuff like that. Or it can be a situation where we told her something, she throwing it in our face. It can be that. So now we guarded. So now when we get to a new relationship, we already guarded. So it gets to the point where if I know what I've been through with this person, with the other ex. So yeah, this person may seem cool, whatever, and may have the qualities of the woman that I like, but can I trust her? Would I be able to be vulnerable again with the person that I'm with? So that could happen. So that's why a lot of times men don't want to open up, because they feel like, what's the point? I'm gonna get disappointed again. So that's why they have to be guarded. They rather tell their homies what's going on with them instead of another chick. To be honest with you, I'll tell their mama what's going on. I'll tell their pops what's going on, because it's a gamble within itself when you out there, rolling the dice of your emotion, your feelings, and you trying to open up to a woman, and all she doing is just pretty much make you feel less of a man. So that can.
So let me ask, like, okay, so if you're already dealing with whatever you're dealing with, and you're not ready to open up to the next person, then why even take it that far if you're not ready? Just asking.
Well, sometimes we try to, as men, we want to, our heart may be right in a way, but our mindset ain't right. We may trick ourselves into something what we want, but then once we get to that in the position of being in a relationship with somebody, it's like, damn, I'm already in it, so I'm gonna continue to BS myself a little bit instead of just working on myself to heal myself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. So a lot of times, men be trying to be macho all the time, but they don't know how to deal with their hurt. So a lot of times we bring our baggage into the next relationship, and now we got this big mess that we already made. So I just feel like once you start a relationship, that's how your relationship gonna end. So if you don't properly prepare yourself to the next relationship, the next phase of your relationship to make it better than what you already been through, then you always gonna have some issues. Because you can get into 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 relationships and you're still gonna be in the same predicament if you don't work those issues out within yourself. So I just think that's always gonna be a situation where it's always gonna follow you. You know, you can lie to everybody else, but you belong to yourself.
So do you think that men are actually aware of the hurt that they're experiencing, or are they not understanding what's going on and they're just like, it doesn't matter? Or I don't know, what would your take
well,
be on that? Like, do you think that men are aware of whatever they're struggling with, whatever that hurt is? Do you think that they're aware of that? Like,
I think they're in denial. You can be aware of something, but you also can be in denial at the same time if you don't have control of what's going on in front of you. So a lot of times we try to nitpick. Um, it's a lot of things, you know, I can't really speak on, but it's a lot of things because every man is different. But we may have the same uh, traits and all that, but every man is different. So I can't speak on each and every man. But I think a lot of times we trick ourselves to something that we want, or we trick ourselves to something that we can actually do, but we don't get the proper help. That's what I'm saying. And then a lot of times, like I said, a man can be aware of what's going on, but if you don't, like I said, if you sitting here trying to BS yourself, man, and trying to think, oh, you know, I'm just gonna go about it this way, and not really deal with the issue. Now you're in a situation where now you got your companion or whatever, your wife, whatever the case may be, in a situation where now y'all is not talking. Now she's trying to question herself. She should be with you. You know what I'm saying? Are you even a reliable person or a person that she can better talk to? Because that can actually that can be a situation where if a woman want to like, hey babe, what's going on? And all you doing is blowing her up in her face and throwing all your frustration on her and stuff like that, but you're not really telling her what's wrong. So now it can be a miscommunication where, you know, like, damn, I don't know if I can talk to her or not. So now you just pretty much put your woman in a situation where she can't even talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you got all these bottled emotions and everything else. You're not dealing with them. You're not, you know, taking the time off for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Now you just give it to anybody that comes your way, and now they got to suffer because you haven't dealt with it. So that can be that.
yeah, I, I, I have seen that where men are projecting. I can't even get it out. Their
Projecting that
their
situation on the woman.
issues or whatever they're not dealing with on a
Mhm.
woman, and she's like trying to connect, communicate, and he's just like not having it because he's dealing with whatever he's dealing with instead
Mhm.
of, talking to her. But if so, let's go back. Let's talk about things that, because these conversations are one so that we get a better understanding of what's going on in our community, what's going on with one another, male, female, because our experiences are different. Um, Ultimately, we are in a minority group, right? So we experience some similarities, but as women, we have female issues, and as men, you all have, male issues. So
Mhm.
talk to me about, like, tell us, like, what are the things that you all deal with on a day-to-day basis that maybe women don't necessarily understand? Um, Try to help us understand.
Well, I mean, it's a lot. I mean, you know, for example, if you got a man that's in a household, take care of the bills and everything else, you know, he got a lot of on him because for one, you know, it could be whatever company or organization that he's working for. You know, he got his boss, you know, on his behind and everything else, what he's trying to do and trying to deal, trying to, you know, provide for his family and everything else. Then, you know, when you come in the house, it can be a situation where the wife or the whatever is not satisfied and all she want to do is just she like those fancy lavish things that you're doing as far as those trips and everything else and material things and so forth and everything else. But You're not even taking the time out to properly understand that man and what he's gone through mentally because, by the time he leaves from the job and go to the house, you know what I'm saying? Um, he don't have no peace within himself. And he's already stressing out because he got a lot going on. And then it could be a situation with the families, with his family members, anything like that, or it can be a lot of different things. But most so, what I see what guys do when the household is not peaceful, they rather stay at their job or they rather go somewhere to a bar because things ain't working out at home and they're not communicating
But
properly.
okay, so before you get to the home,
Hmm.
when you start your day or a man starts his day, let's just say 6:30 a.m. he's out the door, right? So from the
Okay.
time he leaves the house, what are the things that he could possibly be dealing with on that day?
I mean, it could be a lot of things. I mean, it could be his insecurities. It can be
No, but I'm saying
his,
from like the world, from the
the world.
world to
Oh,
the job to the maybe, whatever the situation is. Give us some context, like
okay.
so that women really understand, because
I
you could
mean,
say it
I
could be,
can't,
but let's
I
say
can't.
what it is. If he
Well,
goes to work, what does he have to deal with? Does he have to deal with the boss? Does he have
yeah. I
to
mean,
deal with,
yeah, that's what I just said. He had to deal with the boss. He had to deal with the coworkers and all that. Things is not going as planned at work. You know what I'm saying? So he got a lot going on, and then it depends on his relationship with the boss and his coworkers and peers and stuff like that. He probably not even happy. He probably just sick of it. And so he got that going on. Then, he probably got other stuff going on as far as financial things. He probably ain't properly prepared financially. He probably ain't happy where he at financially. It's probably his bank account ain't fat enough. You know what I'm saying? It could be a lot of things. What's going on with a man.
so can you say that when it comes to finances, are men um
Financial
more
equip.
no more conscious? Does that take a toll on them when they're not in a good financial position? That also adds to
Stress,
whatever the stress
frustration.
is or the frustration or
Yeah, most definitely. When a man is not, he's not financially secure within himself, and a man, if a man is not financially secure and everything else, that can take a toll on him because he feel less of a person. Now, I've seen some things happen where the woman made more money than him, and that could be a situation where he's trying to he feel like inferior of what's going on in front of him because the woman is making more money than him, and now he's kind of scared because now she gets to call the shots. That could be a situation with that. But yeah, most of the times men do get upset and they tend to not properly be mentally on the same surface when they step in the house because they dealing with all these issues where man I ain't financially together. I can't take my baby out to eat, like that. We gotta wait. We gotta schedule where we can go out once a month. 2 months. I can't take the kids out like that. We're sitting in his house all the time. So that can be a lot on him. A lot. And it depends on what type of job he got. You know what I mean? It ain't about how much money you make, but it's also about how much you save too as well. So, if you ain't got a system set up for yourself and for your family, you know what I'm saying? It's always gonna be a situation. But if you see that man is have some battles of saving money or not properly financially secure in the family, that one was supposed to support him and probably help him out a little bit, whatever he's lacking. Because a lot of times, some men, just like in a relationship, some men gonna have some certain weakness, and then you got some women that got strength, and that's when you come together as one, as a unit, to balance that,
but
strength.
how easily is that can that happen? Like I what from what I've seen is that men don't necessarily want a woman to take care of everything. Like there are some men that do that. There are some. But real men are like, well, you know, yeah, I need help or we need help, but I feel less than a man if you're doing this or you're, you know, providing or you're there are men, a lot of men that feel that way, but they're not saying it. They're
Well,
just
you got some.
like
Well, because not
internalizing it. Where does that
right.
even come
Well,
from though?
well, I'm gonna tell you this. You got some men that have not been properly shown by their role models. Properly shown by their role models. As far as whether it can be the father, or it can be the uncle, it can be, you know, anybody that's in the household, whatever the case may be, whether it's your uncle, your grandpa, whatever. But if a man is not properly shown how to financially take care of their family in the future, then he's not gonna know at all. He's gonna be lost. So of
But then
course
it
some
goes
men gonna
back
like
to
them.
not having a father in the home to show them, you know, to show men how to be men. And
That
so,
means that means you have to do your read. That means you have to dig deep and try to seek out some help. Financial advisors and stuff like that can sit down with you and help you properly, help you with your finances and stuff like that. If you don't have those type of role models or people that surround you.
but what about, so I'm gonna go back a little bit more. Um, let's talk about the actual things that happen when men were boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are the things that molded him into being the way that he is or having the hurt that he has? Like, what are those things that girls may not have experienced, but boys experience growing up? Or just give us some possible things, or maybe from your own experience, like issues that you might have dealt with, or, you know, somebody that you know, and how did that shape you all as men? And then were you able to understand that you were hurting, or were you able to understand what caused what? Like, when, at what point did you become aware? So let's start when you were a boy. Like, what were the things that you faced?
Let's see. Well, I don't want to put myself in the equation, but I can tell you, give you a little backstory of somebody I know. I ain't gonna drop no names, but just based off a friend of mine's when grew up as kids, I noticed that he was going through some stuff for his family stuff. Feeling less of a person. He had some other issues as far as insecurities and stuff like that, shyness, um, not fitting in, stuff like that. But I was just trying to encourage him and say, man, you can do anything you put your mind to. I'm here as a friend and stuff like that. So those are the type of things I try to bring to the attention, let him know that you got a solid friend, and whatever you're going through, I can relate to that because we're both young boys going to young men. And sometimes you need that. You need that role model. But a lot of times, boys, of course, as young boys, we get easily influenced sometimes if you don't know how to be a leader. If you never have a grandpa or a dad to sit down and talk to you about the world and stuff like that. And that's why sometimes you have to get lost to find your way. That's pretty much it. You really want to know. You got to get lost to find your way, and sometimes you may have to bump your heads a couple times to get it right. So we all work in progress.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um, so at what point, not at what point, but have you ever experienced where, or have you had an experience when someone has said, okay, you know, how are you feeling? Like, what are your emotions? Um, and then how to address them. Like, have you ever had that type of a support? Do you think that it even exists? Um, like, tell us from a man's perspective, have you ever had anybody that really cared about your emotional and mental health um, at any
Yeah.
point in your life?
Yeah. I had a cousin, that was once here on Earth, no longer, of course, obviously, but I remember me and him used to always chop it up, talk about things, whatever we go through as men, and how to overcome certain things, issues that we have, some things that we kind of like ashamed or embarrassed, or even not even just that, just hesitant to tell people, as men, Um, but I can honestly say that there was always a situation where, for whatever problem I had, we was able to sit down and chop it up as men and have honest, non-judgmental conversations. Why any arguing, anything like that, but just even if you may not agree with some of the stuff, I may not agree with some of the stuff, but I can compromise and understand where he's coming from. You know what I'm saying? So some of the things that he's pretty much breathing into me and telling me certain things about how I can properly handle certain things in my day-to-day life and stuff like that, or whatever situation at that time that I was dealing with. I can properly prepare myself for the next step of handling things emotionally and but more logically. Don't get it. Sometimes you have to tell me like, man, like uh, sometimes you have to think more logically and not emotionally, because sometimes if you let your emotions consume, you're not thinking properly. So you got to
That's
think
what
more
Will Smith
logically.
did, huh?
With the smack, yeah, let's get
Like
on that.
SmackDown.
I mean,
Let's
let's
talk about
let's
it.
let's talk about it. I mean, you gotta understand, Jada, she put her business out ever since that red table came on display on TV, national, around the world. Her talking about her truth, you know what I'm saying, and telling that man, talking about his sexual life, talking about he don't satisfy her. That's come on, man. That's any man probably would have left. He probably would have left. He probably would have told her kick rocks. Divorce ass the next day. Real talk. So
And that's why I
that's just
said she
that's
didn't
just something you
protect
just don't.
him. She did not
That's just
protect
some.
him at all.
I get you, but that's just something you just don't do. Like for one, it was already open already. That was a bad thing, but there still had to be a respect there. But then you can't really get mad if you putting all your business out there in front of everybody from the world. You gotta take it for what it is and what could happen. So now I don't agree with what Chris said. He probably didn't even know. Who knows? He said he didn't know. So the source said. But he said he didn't know the fact that she asked a pizza. So the fact that he did it, and then on top of that, you don't know what she was going through, or what you don't know what event took place before they even got there to the Oscars. You know what I'm saying? So it was just that last straw. I said he had that I wish a nigga would type of thing. But and at the same time too, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was laughing, but I feel like through my observation, I think he was laughing to play it off. But then he saw Jada, even though they didn't show the display, but they saw part of where she just wasn't happy at all. He's like, man, I gotta defend my wife. You know what I'm saying? And so that's
And
why
that
it made
was
it.
the right moment. That's the part I'm like, dude,
But
you did it at the
he didn't
wrong
care.
moment.
But
I know he didn't care, but not caring, he didn't think logically. Like you were talking about thinking logically. Like he wasn't thinking logically. Like
he wasn't.
this your first Oscar that you would have been getting that he did get for
He
now.
did get it. He
Right,
did get
but
it.
for now, because now they're in talks of banning him from the Oscars and taking it
Okay.
back and all of this other stuff. So it's
Well, they're
like,
not gonna. Well, they're not gonna take his. They're not gonna take his reward back. That's not gonna happen. Um, they may ban him for the next time. Who knows? We don't know that. But He's Will Smith. So you don't know what type of pull he got. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what he's been doing, whipping up certain stuff behind closed door. Don't know. He probably got like a lot of relationship with a lot of people. Just don't know. But anywho, I don't say to make it right, but at the same time too, what man like my auntie sent me something. As far as what Steve Harvey said, he should have waited and took it to the back and talked to him man to man. And then if he didn't like it, then smack him. But I feel like anybody waiting for the right time, the right moment to smack somebody or punch somebody in their throat because they said some foul stuff. Like, who gonna wait? So he felt like
I
in his
was
right, he said,
okay.
but hold on. So he felt at that moment, said, you're gonna talk about my wife, and you hurt her feeling, and this is a very sensitive situation or what she's going through, even if regardless you may not know, I'm gonna defend my wife. I'm gonna go out there and smack shit out you. I'm pretty sure you probably prepared yourself mentally. I can't punch them man, knock his ass out, but they really gonna kick me out. So let me smack him. You know what I'm saying? So he already prepared himself, anticipated himself like, man, I already know what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna smack shit out. Now if he get froggy, then hey, that's what's gonna happen. But he also said too, just to give you a little backstory, I don't know if you're paying attention. On the Breakfast Club, he did say too he got tired of being his image for the public as far as being Will Smith. He said he got tired of that. He said he got to the point now. He said I'm about to just be me. He said I have to be happy and be good for myself. And there's a time when Martin Lawrence was on there when they promoted that movie Bad Boys 3. So he just got to the point like, man, I have to be good with myself. He said F what everybody else talking about. So he just got to that point. And the shit already embarrassed the man already. I'm talking about his sex life.
Now I really want to talk about that. So this is the thing. I really feel like he's endured so much because she decided to be vocal about what's going on with them. Like, to have a real table talk and to have a discussion like what we're doing is one thing. But to go into details and air your husband's flaws and then the stuff that you didn't like, and even talking about how in love she was with Tupac, I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, but this hold on. So it's already, I feel like their relationship is already dysfunctional, right? Because from the get-go, when you look at all of the things she said since she started the Red Table Talks, she's never been in love with her husband. It is very apparent that she's never been in love with him. She loves him, but she's not in love with him. And then you have the fact that she keeps bringing up Pac, like he been gone for the longest time, and she's still bringing him up like it was yesterday. She still got a fantasy going on in her mind about a situationship because they weren't in a relationship. So you bring your situationship and this fantasy romance you got in your head of what he was to you and what could have been or whatever the case may be. And then so he gets killed. And now you got a man that's basically saving you from yourself. And then you like, okay, I'm gonna just go with this dude because he Captain Saberho basically.
Yeah, pretty much. He's convenient, basically.
Right. So now she's like, well, I feel safe with him, so I'm just gonna stick with him and stick with him. They've been married for X, Y, and Z. Now with Will, I feel like Will, because he was married before, he got with this woman thinking that she was all together, and she only showed him her representative. Like, the person that she showed him is not who she truly is. And it shows in every aspect of their relationship because they have not had where they're on one accord. And this to me shows him slapping Chris Rock makes me think that he's just tired. He's tired of her and the nonsense. He's tired of everybody talking to him crazy about the stuff that she said. But I just feel like, honestly, he needs to get rid of her. I'm gonna be honest.
He need to kick her.
20 years, and your wife is saying you don't satisfy me. She done had entanglement. You know, she out here for the streets, and y'all been married.
And telling your business,
auditions. And it's like, even if he had missteps, she didn't even talk about him having missteps like that. Like, yeah, he had somebody he was talking to or dealing with at the same time she was, but he didn't go out like, yeah, I had an entanglement with whoever that, I forgot the girl's name that he was dealing with. I think she was a model or something. But I don't think people was paying attention that he was going to different countries and the girl was there. And so
The
wherever the
point
girl would
is,
post,
the point is, he
he
didn't
would
get
post.
caught.
But whatever the case, not even caught, she knew about it, but he didn't air it. That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
That's why I said the point is he didn't get caught getting aired about his situation. She did, and it blew up in her face. What makes it worse? How you gonna sit there as a mother, date your son friend? Like, come on, man. Now you making Jaden afraid to even bring one of his homies over. You gonna smash them too? You gonna heal them too? You gonna make them fall in love with you too? You gonna pull away from him? Now he all in his feelings.
And that's what happened. I feel like August was just like, because if you think back, August was on Red Table Talks before the entanglement came out. He was like one of her first guests, and he didn't spill the entanglement. But then I feel like he wanted a real relationship with her, and he
He
just
wasn't
got
gonna, he
his
wasn't
feelings.
he wasn't ever gonna get that. I
Right,
know that
but
for a
he's
fact.
like, well, let me tell it. And then wrote a whole song about it. And I was just like, bro, what is you doing? What is you doing? That's how females act. What are you doing? But
Yeah.
it's almost like she had to get ahead of the story, but when she got ahead of the story, it just got out of hand.
The story got ahead
So,
of her.
right. But it made Will look so bad because now he's sitting there having this conversation for the world to see in front of his wife, like they having this conversation, and it's like, what said, Will has been made to look like a fool in front of the whole world. He doesn't know how to act right now. His wife was smashing their son's friend while it appears that he was trying to stay loyal. And that's what I'm saying. A woman that truly loves a man is not about to do that. Like, I don't care what's going on. Like, she's not about to do that. And that's why I said she's never truly been in love with him. She's just loved him, but she's never really truly been in love with him. But here it is that this man has already been dealing with past hurts, right? Because he talks about all of the abuse that he saw and all of this other stuff. So then you add on that your wife not loving you right, and it's like, I can't win for losing because now you sitting here displaying our whole relationship or whatever my missteps are, whatever my dysfunction is for everybody to see. And it's supposed to be private. This supposed to be between you and I. So
But you
I
know
feel
what?
like it just adds to his hurt, and him
Right.
smacking Chris Rock was just getting all of the 20 years of frustration.
But you know what,
It
Chris?
was
But you
smacked.
understand, Chris been talking smack. People ain't playing no more. People ain't joking. Like I had a situation where I saw it too. I had like everybody keep talking about he should get arrested and all that type of stuff. Like, man, get out of here with that. If you drug with somebody
So
and you talk to somebody, you drug with somebody and you talk about somebody's wife, be prepared for the reaction
that's
that you about to
me
get.
too. But
So I mean, you
Will
can't
is
sit and tell it,
hurting.
but you can't tell nobody how to react though. Everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? The way you may react, somebody else might react a whole totally different. Like, come on. And then what makes it bad, he's sitting there.
Hold on. So this guy says many black men are dealing with this right now, sitting inside of a jail because he let his emotions get the best of him.
Mm.
Make emotionally stable black women build up their man and ensure he doesn't look like a fool great again. Exactly. Exactly. But
Right.
here's the challenge though. There are black men, and this the other thing. So whoever wants to come on, you can come on and have this conversation. Like, but from my experience, from what I've seen with my own male friends, my brother, um, in dating, men will choose a woman based on how she looks versus will she be a good fit as a wife? Will she be a good fit as a mother? Will she take care of my home and not have me out here looking crazy if I marry this woman, and I've seen where men get married based on, oh, this woman, she just looks so good, and for a moment she make him feel like he's the king, but in all actuality,
Mm-hmm.
she not even fit to be a wife or a mother. And she throwing him under the bus every chance she gets. So when is it a point where men say, I want to date somebody with substance because I'm looking for a wife, just not somebody to smash?
I mean, I'm about to keep it real with you. I saw that part.
You see, Jada shouldn't have sat in the front row in front of a notorious roaster. I mean,
But I'm going to tell you
she
this.
sat in the front row because her husband was getting the Oscar.
Right.
However, I just feel like he should have just left them where they were, because when I was looking even at the history, he's talked about Jada back in the 90s when she was doing the Million Women's March or something.
Yeah.
And he was like,
He
so
didn't.
women are
And he
basically on a
didn't.
shopping spree, you know,
Yeah.
talking mad.
Yeah, but he didn't. And then he talked about too, like how he made more money with Wild Wild West, and he get it. How Jada was mad about how Will didn't get the nomination for the best actor of
For concussion.
concussion.
Right.
Concussion.
So he
So you know
said
what I'm saying?
Lupita had on a wig, so she knew better. You know what? Jada probably think that she probably thought that nobody was gonna say nothing, because if you look, was it hours before, a couple days before, when she was talking about how confident she was with her bald head, and then, which I feel like that was fake. I feel like she was just doing that just to make herself feel good, and she really probably be crying at night about her hair falling out, and
Mm-hmm.
so that was triggering for her, for him to say that in public in front of millions of people. So
Look, I'm gonna say this to you. It's 2022. And now, people can say all they want as far as he should have got arrested, or Jim Carrey talking about he would have sued $2 million. Jim Carrey need to sit down. He need to sit down and chill out. Real talk. My thing is the fact that I hear I see your list about the movie. The fact that Chris Rock did press charges, and the fact that he analyzed the whole situation, he trying to press us a slap that he got on stage. He felt like, well, damn, it was kind of bogus for even talking about his wife, so it could have been worse. So I'm just not gonna push her, and it's gonna be a hassle doing all that type of stuff. So yeah, and then my thing is like this: you gotta take whatever punishment comes next. I'm just being honest with you, regardless of how the world may see. Like, man, people gonna live their life. People gonna do what they want to do. We can have a lot of conversation about the same old stuff over and over. But the fact that Will felt like, hey, I ain't about to put up with this crap. But then, like I said, she got him out here looking stupid. But again, like I said, if you got somebody got you out here looking stupid, that means you need to get rid of them. So I don't know what he hanging on for. Cause the kids, they up in age now. So Jaden,
he's trying
he's
to make it work.
trying to look. Ain't that much love in the world. You better be smart. You better move feelings and use logic.
I
Move
think he was trying
feelings
to
and
make it
use.
work because he had a divorce before. So
I
I
get all
think
that,
that he was trying to
but you
stick
gonna
it out.
stick it out and have her embarrass you some more. Cause this time it's gonna be even worse. What she sleep with 50 Cent? What if she sleep with Nate again? Off set it off. Who knows? I don't know. She might cut her back. Who knows?
You know
Well, I
what? Let's talk. Okay, so really quickly,
yeah.
what
You
is
need
it
5 more minutes.
that you know what, you requested to be on this live? So what is it that women can do? Because
Better.
we already
What I
talked.
can do
Wait,
better?
wait, wait, wait. Let me finish. We
Go ahead.
already talked about all of the different things that, like, I gave the list about the hurts that men have felt from abuse, neglect, belittling, bully, taking advantage of, lack of um, higher earning potential, feeling unloved, mishandled by a girlfriend, the world, or their wife or whoever. But how can a woman support a man and make him feel
Secure.
like he's able to, one, talk to her,
Mm-hmm.
and two, at peace?
Okay. One, don't betray his trust. If he's telling you something, keep your mouth shut. Don't even tell your friends. Don't tell your family. If I'm telling you something in confidence about something that I've been through or something I want to talk to you about, you know what I mean? Well, staying, like our parents used to say all the time, what goes in the home stays in the home. So you want to keep that same energy. So if he's talking to you and confiding to you and everything else to tell you about what's going on with him, and you keep that same energy of being consistent and being loyal to what he's telling you and vice versa, then he can keep the communication flowing and tell you certain stuff. He can be able to open up more. But what what a woman can do as far as making sure that man is, he feel like he can trust you, is just be consistent, man. Just be consistent with your action, and don't bash him. Don't make him feel low. You know what I'm saying? Don't disrespect him. You know what I'm saying? As a man, anything like that, just make him feel comfortable each and every time that he's going through it. Because, like I said, y'all as women, y'all on an emotional standpoint, we're on a logical standpoint. So my thing is like this: if we telling y'all something, y'all need to really listen, open up your ears and really listen to what we're telling y'all and stuff like that, what we're going through.
But if
Because
you're not opening, here's the other part that we talked about earlier. If you are not opening your mouth to say anything, then how can a woman uh talk to you? Like if a man shuts down and not says anything, then what is she supposed to do with that?
well, two things can happen: either he gonna check himself and fix it, or B, the relationship is gonna resolve itself into not working at all. That's just what it is. That's the only thing I see happen. A or B. So, you can talk to a man till he blue in the face and stuff like that. But if he's not willing to open up to you, especially if and then on top of that, I tell women all the time, you see these signs, but here women they think they can try to change a man. See a woman,
And
she'll
that's one
rearrange
thing you can't do.
red.
That's
So
one thing
see
for
a
the woman
woman,
that's on here. That's the
yeah,
one thing that you cannot do. A man has to be
I,
willing
I
to
can't
change. So if he is
I
not
can't stress
changing, then walk away.
I can't stress that enough. But you know, women have a tendency to try to change a man, fix a man, and all that type of stuff. And he's not your kid. He's not your puppet. He's not a puzzle. You know what I'm saying? That's something he has to battle and deal with on his own, and ask God to help him in the process of healing
Hmm.
and being able to come to terms and say, well, I need some help. I need to talk to somebody so I can get on the right track, so I can have a better, healthy relationship with myself and to my loved ones and everything else and so forth, my kids and everything else. Because otherwise, you're going to keep going in a circle. But like I said, the women have to see the flags coming. They tend to see not they tend to overlook the flag because oh he looks so handsome, oh he got money, oh he's something different, or he's what I know. Oh no, let me rephrase that. He what I'm used to, for comfortability. Because
That's very true.
it's the type in the equation. So sometimes we have to move type out of the equation because I always try to tell people this all the time. Your past is supposed to sharpen you, not hinder you. Because you can find yourself in the same predicament of the same situation of dealing with somebody else that you dealt with in your past. Now you
Hmm.
stuck. We ain't stay stuck, but people choose to be stuck, but choose not to fix the situation because they want to hang on to something. Oh, he gonna change, but you know the person ain't gonna change. So why are you kidding yourself? Why don't you just say, pick up the phone? I
Because
have
a
a hold
woman
on,
has
hold on.
hope. She got
You can
hope.
hope. You can have hope all you want to. You're gonna be hoping and wasting your time. Hoping. Keep hoping. You're gonna be
Keep
hoping
hoping on
on
that
this
pussy.
person that you wasting your time on. And you got a potential husband out there that got himself together mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. But you still banking on him to see if he
Yep,
gonna change.
that is very true.
So
And a
while
lot
you
of
have to
women do that.
you pass some time away and everything else. Oh, I'm just hoping, praying that he gonna change. But your future husband out there, he doing big things. But you focus on this little bum right here. And he all he doing, he ain't thinking about your ass. You worrying about him every given second, every given moment, every given minute. but he's still doing him.
Yeah, that's very true. Very,
Yeah,
very insightful. Thank you for giving your input.
for sure.
That was really good because a lot of women need to hear that. Like, um, I was talking to one of my friends, and one of his friends has been with somebody for like 18 years, and ain't no, he don't want to be married. They just live together. It's just a whole situation where it's like toxic, and I'm just like 8 to 10 years
I'm gonna
living
tell you
with
this.
this person,
Some people
and
can do
she
that though.
missing out on dating experiences because she's wrapped up in the idea of this one person. And that's why I think that because society has told women that they have to be married and it looks bad for a woman to date around, that women just try to stick to the norm of what she should be doing.
Hmm.
But that's that doesn't work in today's society because there are men that are hurting and they're hurting women in the process of getting themselves together. So
Hmm.
then they're not ready to move forward, but instead of saying, hey, I'm not ready, like you said before, they will
Hmm.
string the relationship along knowing full well
Yeah.
that they not ready to do anything. They want the security of a person, but they're not ready to move forward because of whatever insecurities or issues that they're dealing with on the inside.
I tell.
So,
Let me just say this to you. Let me make it short and sweet because I got to wrap this up in 3 minutes. I want to just say this to you. Um, Men and women, include myself because I've been there before, so I have no shame in my game. Where we have to learn how to re-love ourselves, believe in ourselves and everything else, and so forth. Get ourselves together. You know what I mean? Do some soul searching and everything else. You know what I'm saying? Get ourselves together all together before we start bringing somebody else in our lives, or before we start putting ourselves, inserting ourselves into somebody else's life. Because they already got their life together. You know what I'm saying? But it's not fair to them. So we got to think subconsciously, like, man, if I want the relationship to be better, then I have to get myself together. You know what I'm saying? And if I don't get myself together, then I'm still gonna be back in the same predicament. So that's why I try to tell people all the time. Stop saying you want to date. Stop saying you gonna move on to somebody else and everything else. And we got some people that twinkling back to their exes and stuff like that, and then shit don't work out, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, do you want better or do you want to go backwards? Which one you
that's
want?
because
I mean,
people are comfortable.
I
It has a
get it,
lot
but you
to
need
do
to.
with
But let me just
comfortability
tell you,
and not stability.
but you know my slogan, right? Don't get comfortable unless you need the covers. That's it. You can't control another human being, regardless of what they have not shown you prior to what you've been. Forget all that. Oh, we got history together. Forget all that. The moment when you like, the moment I was telling somebody where they be like, well, this person never done this before, but you got to treat people, even exes sometimes too, 2 or 3 years, 5 years, 6 years from now, whatever the case may be. You got to treat them like you just met them. It's just like a
That's
job.
true.
When you leave a job, you know what I'm saying? You got to go through the process all over again.
Yeah.
You ain't just walk up in the job and start swiping and start doing your work and stuff. Like, no, you got to go through paperwork. You got to go through this probation period. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So a lot of times we have to we can have all the advice that we can give somebody, but we also gotta follow our own advice too. And that's why our biggest problem at. We don't know how to take our own advice. We don't know how to let go. We don't know how to say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm done. It's not that hard. You want to get to live once.
It
One.
is okay. So you'll say it's not that hard, but to somebody that's been with that one person like Will been with Jada for 20 years, right? 20, I don't know, but how many of years? So for him, he's like, well, for better and worse is what we signed up for, right? Through sickness and health is what we signed up for. So I'm not leaving because this is supposed to be my person.
Well, he
So
did
I'm
say he
just
ain't
gonna
never
stick
getting
it
no
out.
divorce. He did say that too.
I didn't hear that part, but uh, I feel like because he's committed all the way, and that's the thing. He's committed, but she ain't committed. She
No.
she's doing her own thing, and then telling him like, "This what I'm gonna do." And you have women that's like that. Like there are men that's actually dealing with these situations in real life where women are disrespecting them by going out and being with all of these different people and then telling them about it and then making them feel like they're less than. But here's the thing, women will be the first to say, oh, you cheated, you did this, you did that. But they're not looking at the fact that they basically doing the same thing.
Right.
If you don't like to be cheated on, then why would you go out there and then do that and then think somebody's supposed to accept the fact that you messing around? The other part is men do not come back from cheating well. Once you have cheated, they don't want to be bothered with you because
Yeah,
in
we got
their
all these images in
mind,
our head. We got the images in our head already of you
yep.
smashing another nigga. And whatever you've been doing, he probably bust all on you, whatever the case may be, you know. Hey, can I say that on air? My bad. Don't mean to be too graphic, but yeah. But that's where it leads to. And then now we don't trust you. Now we talk to somebody else. Now we on to the next because we don't trust you. Now the relationship about to be over with anyway because we're about to be done with you.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? But like I said, man, this is the moment. This is the time. I want to just say one thing because I got to get off. I got to go to work. But I just want to say that this is the time right now, and I tell this all the time. I can't even stress it enough. This is the time where we have to dig deep inside our soul and ourselves and say we are enough. We have to value our work, our self worth.
mm-hmm.
You turn up. I know it's kind of emotional. You know, it's speeches.
Now,
I'm telling you,
my allergies.
it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Allergies.
I know it's touching. It's okay.
I need an
Uh,
Allegra. It's all in here.
but this is the time, man. Whether it's job, whether it's a person, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, we have to sit. We have to sit down and actually ask ourselves, what do we want? What's best for us? What can we do to possibly to keep ourselves from following the same cycle? What can we do to redirect ourselves mentally and emotionally and everything else to get us on the right path to where we need to do, as far as getting something better? Not getting something comfortable, but getting something better. You always want to update yourself and update where you want to be at. You never want to put yourself in the same situation where, damn, if that was the case, I should have stuck with the other person if I was gonna get this. But you got to keep pushing forward, man. I try to tell you all the time. We have to keep pushing forward as human beings and stop being so caught up on history or that's what I'm familiar to, man. Scratch all that. Try to find something
That's
better
very true because history will jack you up.
every time. Every time, it's by your throat. So, um, this is the time, man. We got to start better. We got to start, fighting for what we want and stand on it. And boundaries. People don't know about boundaries. We got to set boundaries and keep them. If we don't set boundaries, you know what I'm saying? That's how people get comfortable. People start doing what they want to do. So boundaries not in place and everything else. Another thing in relationship, you got to set boundaries. If you don't set boundaries, you're gonna be all over the place. Now you're gonna
That's
be in a
true.
real sticky situation where, well, I done this all this time, so why you complaining now? Man, they talk about this, bro. Why you
And that's
complaining now?
that's the, that's the thing. A lot of women don't set boundaries because they're
I
in
ain't talking
fear
about
of
just women.
losing
I'm
a
talking
man.
about
No, no, but I'm saying it for the most part. I can speak from a woman's perspective. A lot of women don't set boundaries because they're in fear of losing that man. You're saying
okay,
men do the same
but
thing.
if you're gonna lose that man, then that would tell you right there it was never meant to be.
That's true.
You can't be
I
in
agree
fear of
with that.
something that ain't gonna be guaranteed yours. So you gotta get that fear out your mindset and look at things for what they are. If it's a picture on the wall, we tend to paint something over that we just saw already. How you gonna paint something over something that's already been painted already? That don't make sense. Leave things the way they are in a nice little jacked up frame. Even if you may not like it, just walk by it. Don't put your own painting on it. Keep it where it's at. Go about your business. I say that to say this is If you see something act like a duck, quack like a duck, and you see flags right there, run like hell. Don't be trying to scratch your head trying to figure it out. Don't be trying to second guess it. Don't be trying to, oh, maybe I can fix this person. No, don't put them thoughts in your head. To say, you know what, it was nice talking to you. I've been through this situation before, but I think I'm gonna pass on this. I want something better. Simple.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for the
That was pretty good. Thank you for
Oh,
coming
you
on here
welcome.
and giving us a
Oh,
male's perspective.
a
Um,
little insight, a little something. But I hate to go and log out, but it was nice, give you some info from the male perspective. But it's always good and a pleasure to log into Tiana and Michelle, live. But yeah, so appreciate it and everything else. Hopefully I look forward to more topics, in the future and stuff like that. But a brother gotta go make that bread.
okay.
So yeah.
All right.
All right.
Thank
You
you
have a good
for
one. No
you
problem.
too.
You have a good one. Enjoy your life and everything else. And Donald's always here to give you that Darnell speech.
Okay, bye.
But
Press the X. Press the X. There you go. Okay. So we talked about, because that was really a really good perspective. We were talking about black men hurting too, and the fact that black men deal with a lot of different issues that black women don't really understand. And the example that I used, of course, was the Will and Jada situation and the smack that they said was heard across the world. There seemed to be something deeper than just him feeling like his wife was disrespected. It seems that, from my perspective, that he's been ridiculed and for a while, because of the topics that she's had and the entanglements and all of this different stuff. So he has basically reached his boiling point, and I believe that that's what we saw projected on that night. Um, the gentleman that was on here actually dug into that part, but he also talked about his wife not supporting him, and by putting their business out there it leaves him vulnerable, but also in a way where he can't trust her. And so there was another gentleman that was actually commenting earlier about how there are men that are basically operating off their emotions because they're with women who don't emotionally support them, because they already have their own stuff that they're dealing with, and then they don't have women that emotionally support them. And so that goes back to understanding where you are, because if you're not healed, or if you're not dealing with your issues and you get in a relationship with somebody and knowing that they're not healed and they're, got their own stuff that they're dealing with, then if you all are not intentional about where you are, what the goal is, and then trying to, heal yourself, then it's not gonna work. Like, it's not gonna work. I feel like they've been together for a long time, and he said that he's not going to divorce her. From what the gentleman said, I have to look that up, but it's like he's saying, I just want to torture myself forever because she's showing that she's not going to protect him, because there's a protection that should happen uh within the marital relationship. Like, there should be a protection for a husband, there should be a protection for a wife. Like, both parties should be protecting one another, and when that protection is not there, then that leaves people open, to be dealing with certain situations like this. But going back and looking at even Jada's, even her situation, when she talks about, you know, that she was so in love with Tupac and all of this other stuff, and then she decides to get with Will after, you know, after Tupac got killed. And I'm like, why are you still talking about this? I was actually going to bring up the clip when she was saying it. They were married by this time, and she's talking about it like as if this happened yesterday and she's not a married woman. I really find that utterly disturbing, and the fact that he's deciding to stay around really speaks that he's really hurting, because if somebody's going to continue to mishandle you and do things that hurt you, I think that at a point as a person, you should be like, I'm going to walk away from this, because, you know, we should be at a different place here. You should be at a different place. That was, you know, 20 years ago. That's like you being in a marriage and talking about all your exes to your husband. He don't want to hear that. And it takes a toll on a man when you do that. And you wouldn't want him to do the same things to you. So that part is really baffling to me, that she's sitting having these conversations about all of these different things and then expecting this man to just be okay with it. But the sad part is he's basically putting himself in this situation because he don't plan on leaving. So it's just really something that they really need to be in therapy about. Like, they need some heavy therapy because that's too much. That's just way too much. It's But so this was a good, I'd say it was a good conversation, getting a male's perspective on those different things. But I want women to become more aware of the fact that men go through things just like we go through things. We are not alone in the fact that we go through things. We cannot minimize somebody else's pain and make our pain greater. Pain is pain. Um, and if we expect men to be leaders, to be husbands, and um, be good husbands, be good fathers, be good individuals of society, we have to give them the opportunity to express themselves. Because even when you think about boys when they're young, a lot of boys, even though they're influenced by their friends, they are told by their moms not to be weak, not to be wimps. Their dads, if their dads are around. So everybody's preaching this holding in emotions, but then they're going out talking crazy to people, you know, for some robbing people, doing things that are utterly not in their character, because they can't articulate their emotions, and then they become grown men that can't articulate their emotions. And that's actually one of the biggest problems, is that it's a failure to communicate with Black men, because they have so many things going on with them, and then they don't trust that somebody is going to genuinely care. Because I've had conversations with men that say, hey, you know, I can't trust that this person is going to uh, not tell what I'm telling them, or I can't trust that it's not going to be used against me. I can't trust this and the other. So men actually have a lot of trust issues, and I don't think women really know that. And that's why in a previous conversation, you can go to my YouTube channel at it's Crown Convos with Tiana Michelle. And I talked about this, how men need to be able to talk to you and communicate with you without feeling judged. And sometimes it's hard. If they're really hurting, it's very hard. And in that instance, if they're really hurting and damaged, then you have to make a decision on whether or not you're going to stay with that person, or if you're going to walk away. Or if they're just a friend and you just want to help them, that's one thing. But if there's somebody that you're trying to, you know, that you see a future with, and they're not giving you anything, you might have to walk away. And then when they have gotten themselves together, you know, if God willing, maybe it'll work out in the future, but you cannot um, put yourself on hold for somebody to get themselves together or the hope that they'll get themselves together because they may not ever do it. So they have to put in the work. If you don't have anything to work with, then there's no reason for you to stay there. Let them get themselves together, and then if you know it's meant to be, then it'll happen. But when it comes to the friendship, and that's why I stress that friendship should be the basis of a relationship, because the reason why I have male friends is because one, I was a tomboy as a kid, but two is because they don't talk about anything, and I just be like, I let them talk. Like, I let them tell whatever they're gonna tell, whatever they're gonna do, whatever. And I'm just like, okay. And so that's actually how you gain a man's trust, by letting him talk about whatever he's gonna talk about. But then you don't use that very scenario against him. And that's the part that a lot of women wind up finding themselves doing when they arguing. They're not arguing fair. They wind up using the traumatic experience against the man, and then it turns into I can't trust you situation, and now he's not communicating with you. So I think that we need to start looking at our men differently so that we can actually connect with them, because they're going through their own things too, just like the gentleman was talking about earlier. They go through their own things. But we need to try to understand that if we are trying to be in relationship with them, just like we want them to understand us. And we're always, talking about our needs and our hurts and our pains. They need somebody to talk about their needs, their hurts, and their pains with too, so that they can have a source that they can go to and vent to, and then they can be better, productive people, and they make the household better because they're healthier individuals, because they talked out their issues and emotions and all those different things. So I thank you all for joining in on this live. This is like a really good conversation. We will be back next Thursday, same time, same place. Um, and make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Crown Convos with Tiana and Michelle. Follow me here on IG or Facebook. I'm always posting, empowerment and inspo. I actually have an app for individuals with Down syndrome where it's a whole directory, and every morning there's inspirational messages that comes to your phone and gives you that extra boost you need. I have that. And then also, you guys see my lashes and hair, they popping. I have another company, bellalux.com. Go on there, check us out, get you some lashes, look pretty, all those different types of things. I thank you again for joining. These are topics and discussions that are meant to be community conversations. And I started this actually a year ago, and it's been going strong ever since. So I thank you all for joining, and you all have a great night.